Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with another competitive Pokemon Sun and Moon moveset video analysis guide on how to use Araquanid. If you guys actually missed any of my previous moveset videos, there's a link to the playlist down below in the description. I encourage you to check that out. Also, feel free to subscribe for more competitive analysis and whatnot. So we're going to be talking about Araquanid today. It is the water and bug type Pokemon that has a base 132 special defense, that amazing base 132 special defense, decent base 92 defense, and on top of that, below average attack, below average special attack, low HP, and very low speed. But it does have two pretty decent abilities. Actually, one of them is very important on Araquanid. Well, first off, we're going to talk about the one that's not that important. That's Water Absorb. It might be cool because you do have a water immunity, which means you can't be burnt by water type moves like Scald, and you absorb 1/4 of your max HP when you're hit with a water type move. However, Araquanid does already resist water, and it has great special defense anyway, so I don't think that's too much of ability that's worth talking about. However, it does have a new ability this generation called Water Bubble, and this is a sick ability. One, you can't be burnt, so the fact that Water Absorb grants you an immunity to Scald before, it doesn't matter because you can't be burnt. Firepower against it is halved, so damage from fire type attacks are halved. And the most important part, which is really cool for Araquanid, this Pokemon's water power is 2 times. So any water move it goes for, the attack damage is doubled, which is really cool on Liquidation. Liquidation is an 85% accurate physical water type attack that has a 20% chance to lower your defense. That becomes 127.5 base power after stab. So from 85 power it becomes 127.5 base power, and after liquidation that becomes 255 base powered attack. So of course, knowing that we have a mon with that high of a damaging move, you know, we're talking about levels of explosion right here. The first set we have is the Choice Band set. Now this Pokemon does not have the best move pool, I would say, at least physical, but all you really need is liquidation. The Choice Band set runs Liquidation, which is your strongest move. We already talked about how strong that is. This thing hits hard on resistances. Starmie dies under rain, like 100% to this. Leech Life is your next attack. It is 80 base power. It also can heal up to 50% of the damage dealt, so it does boost your HP when you are locked in. But most of the time, you're just going to be spamming Liquidation with this attack. Poison Jab is the next move, which allows you to break through Pokemon such as Tapu Fini, who otherwise resist your dual stab of water and bug. I mean, Liquidation under rain would still do a ton to that thing. I want to stress, guys, when you're using Choice Band or Araquanid, click Liquidation. Doesn't matter, just click Liquidation. Even if they have a Toxapex, click it. Under rain, Liquidation is almost a 2-hit KO with the Choice Band on Toxapex. Actually, I'll show you guys the calc right here, because I believe that is important to show these damage calcs. I actually should have had this done already, but I love how it's called God tier Pokemon. But let's show this real quick. So we have the rain up, right? This is a Choice Band. It should be a 2-hit KO or close to a 2-hit KO on Toxapex. Toxapex, if you guys don't know, one of the most physically defensive water and poison types we have this generation. And look how much Liquidation does under rain. It's almost a 2-hit KO. And that's crazy considering this thing has 262 special 262 attack, excuse me. But that's Liquidation under rain versus Toxapex. So I do advise using Araquanid on a rain team or on a Trick Room team. Sleep Talk is the final move. I guess you can run Lunge, but there's no real point in running Lunge when Leech Life does the exact same damage and recovers your HP. But Sleep Talk is the last move because basically you want Araquanid to be able to go for its Liquidation. You want it to be able to attack. That's the point of this set. So Sleep Talks allow you to switch in on Spore, from Smeargle, from Amoonguss, just to name a few Pokemon, and proceed to Sleep Talk and attack with your Choice Band Liquidation. But I'll show you Starmie as well. This would be Starmie. Starmie in the rain, 100% dies to Liquidation. Look at that. Beautiful. I mean, obviously it dies to Leech Life too, but it's just showing you that there's no good switch-ins, even if you resist. Not that Toxapex obviously isn't a good switch-in. That might even be considered a counter because it does have Recover, but it's just to show you. I'll show you Bold Pelipper as well in the rain. This is physically defensive Pelipper. It's doing 50 to 59%, so it's really hard switching to this mon. Next up, we have Trick Room. Because it does have very low speed, this thing can function very well in the Trick Room. Honestly, guys, I might have shown you the CB set, but I would actually run this spread all the time when running Choice Band Araquanid. All the time. I would run Brave Nature, Zero Speed IV, because that allows you to be an anti-Trick Room Pokemon even when you're not a Trick Room Pokemon. The speed doesn't really matter too much on Araquanid anyway. You don't outspeed much. And if you use it under Trick Room, or if you even use it as an anti-Trick Room Pokemon, this Pokemon is slower than Min Speed Alolan Marowak, Min Speed Crabrawler, a lot of Trick Room abusing Pokemon. As you can see, it hits 80 base speed with a Zero Speed IV and Brave Nature, which is a speed down ability, and Marowak with Brave, Zero Speed IVs hits 85. So you can outspeed that thing. Basically, you can reverse sweep if your opponent has Trick Room. I think it's a pretty cool attack because, I mean, the idea of this mon is just max out your HP, max out your attack. You have 248 because you are weak to Stealth Rock, so you want to take less damage. For Stealth Rock, you can switch in more by having this. But I would always run Brave. Always. I wanted to tell you guys about this Choice Band set, but I would always run Brave on Araquanid. Just the fact that you're slow anyway, and if your opponent has Trick Room, you get to be an anti-Trick Room mon and get to spam Liquidation. If you guys didn't know, Trick Room is like Hyper Offense, but just for slow Pokemon. So typically, Trick Room does not have a lot of Pokemon that can tank hits. They have what, Porygon, maybe Cresselia, just to name a few Pokemon. Like, just name physically defensive, maybe Porygon 2. What the hell did I say? Porygon 2, 100. Like it's in the rain, obviously, but it's being 2 AKO. That's not the standard set of it. I can run special defensive or special defensive. Actually, on Trick Room, I like to run offensive Porygon, so that's just to note something like that. But you can run the Min Speed IVs. I think you should be running the Min Speed IVs whenever you're using Araquanid, because even if you're not running Trick Room, like it functions on Trick Room well, even if you're not running Trick Room, if your opponent has it, it just becomes one of those powerhouses that can abuse the fact that the Trick Room is up and that now it's faster than everything on Trick Room. So next up, we have the Assault Vest set. This takes advantage of the high base special defense it has. Same IV or EVs as before, just max attack, 248 HP, 8 speed death. But this set focuses on just clicking Liquidation and Leash Life. It actually has Mirror Coat because Mirror Coat is not considered a non-damaging move. So it's considered an attacking move. So you can use Mirror Coat and have your Assault Vest. And to show you what that does, we're going to put an Assault Vest on this Pokemon right now. And then let's show Magnezone. There's a few Magnezone running around. There's Scarf, there's Specs, there's Assault Vest. Let's just show Modest Magnezone. Modest Magnezone's Volt Switch does 39 to 46, and Thunderbolt does 50 to 60. So if it Thunderbolts you and you go for the Mirror Coat that turn, you will be able to knock it out. Specs Magnezone does not knock you out either. If you guys didn't know, Specs Magnezone does not knock you out, so I'll show you that calc as well. Choice Specs. I mean, Thunderbolt does a lot, obviously. Thunderbolt does 74 to 88. And Volt Switch does 58 to 69. But either of those, let's say a Magnezone comes out and a Volt Switches out into, let's say, a Celesteela. After it Volt Switches and do that damage, the Celesteela comes in, takes the Mirror Coat, and dies. And basically, that's why Mirror Coat is kind of like a hidden tech. Araquanid has a great resistances. Water is one of them. Fighting is another one. So the fact that this mon could take hits. I'll even show you Bold Tapu Fini, which is a Pokemon that is running around right now. This can be used to check a +6 Tapu Fini. But usually Bold is the set. But let's say +6. +6 Moonblast is 60 to 71%. If I make it max special attack Modest, it still can't knock you out. +6. That's +6. Modest Tapu Fini, 84 to 99%. You can just check that with the Mirror Coat. But next up, and the last move on the set, is Scald. It might sound pretty bad considering you have 50 base special attack. However, it is boosted by Water Bubble, and it's mainly there because it does have the chances of burn. Liquidation and Leech Life are the moves that you are usually going for, but being able to burn something, let's say like a Celesteela, for example, wearing it down helps the rest of your team out. So basically, Scald is just there just to spam as a last-ditch effort, but usually going for Liquidation, Leech Life, mainly just Liquidation and Mirror Coat if you're able to trap a mag. So that's why Assault Vest runs that. Next up, we have the Trapper set. I have tested this set a few times. Big shout out to Chimpack and PK, by the way. They've also helped me out this entire time. But Chimpack actually brought this set to to me. Like I didn't know about the set until Chipx said it, and it's Soak, Infestation, Liquidation, and Toxic. Now, what this does, what Soak does, is actually makes your opponent, it changes them to a water type. So a Steel type will be turned into a water type, a Poison type will be turned into a pure water type, or Water Poison type will be turned into a pure water type. And what Infestation does is, when you go for it, you trap your opponent for 4 to 5 turns while also simultaneously damaging them. So, here's the example of how I've used it and when it's been used. I've used Infestation. Araquanid lures in Pokemon like Toxapex for days. Celesteela, just because Celesteela can take a hit and leech seed up. So if I lure them in with Infestation, they are trapped because of Infestation. I then go for Soak. They're still trapped because of Infestation. And then I can Toxic Toxapex. I can Toxic Celesteela because they are now pure water types. And even when they switch out, they still have the poison damage. So it's not like Poison Heal. They'll still be taking damage. But that's the main gist of this set. And Liquidation is just your main attacking move, but the idea of this set is to trap and lure in Pokemon like Celesteela, like Toxapex, that do come in on Araquanid. I think they could set up Toxapex, I think they could leech seed up. Trap them first, always go for Infestation first with this set. And the fact that you're physically defensive allows you to take on fighting types, allows you to take on Celesteela better anyway. You also can take on Buzzwole, obviously, just Pokemon like that. Your natural resistances, and there's no point in really bulking out the special defense just because it has really high special defense anyway. But the idea of this set is to go for Infestation, trap your opponent, and then go for Soak when it's something that you can set up on. Like, again, Toxapex and Celesteela are 2 Pokemon that I have used this set versus, and Toxic them and just help the rest of my team. And then pair it with something that doesn't appreciate Toxapex, like a physical attacker, like maybe a Scizor, or doesn't appreciate Celesteela being alive because it can flamethrower, so like Scizor, or like something like that. Now it does have other options. It does have Power Split, which is pretty cool for like setup mons. That makes your attack go really high when it averages out. When they start boosting and then you average it out and your Liquidation gets a lot stronger. It does have Lunge. Typically, even though it does have a 100% chance to lower your target's attack by 1 stage, I like Leech Life better just because 50% recovery. 50% recovery of the damage you've done, I think is great. Aqua Ring can be ran on like a sub-toxic set with Liquidation, Protect, something like that. I've seen that work as well. Though if I want to use like a toxic set, I think I'll use a Trapper set. But that's just the other options that Araquanid does have. But in the case, guys, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Feel free, of course, to leave a like, subscribe for more. Let me know how Araquanid works out for you. And follow me on Twitch and Twitter. The links are down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.